Hey guys, today I'm gonna give a deck tech for the deck that I'm thinking about running in standard. It's Temur Aggro with a very heavy prowess theme. Um, so far, I've had pretty good success with it since I've kind of solidified the spots. I'm 3-0, 6-1 in games. So yeah, the deck is based around. I'll start with the creatures. It's based around Storm Chaser Mage. That was the motivation for me to build this deck. I think this guy's awesome. A 1/3 flyer for 2 that has prowess and haste is really fantastic, especially in standard, where you don't have bolt and you don't have the kind of cards that are really going to deal with it instantly. Um, so I think that this is a really stellar 2-drop. Um, Alongside him, you have Menagerie Swiftspear, a pretty general aggro. You know, she's come to be the aggro go-to 1-drop in a lot of different decks. So you have Menagerie Swiftspear. She also has prowess and haste, so she does a lot of work as well. Um, then I'm running 2 each of Abbot and Den Protector. I'm running 2 Abbots solely because when I was running 4, I ended up exiling a lot of stuff that I didn't want to exile, and that's frustrating because then you lose cards that you could be using. Um, so I cut the Abbots down to 2, and I've had some pretty good success with Abbot as a pretty early beater. Den Protector, I also have it too because I think with 4 in a low mana deck, it gets to be a lot. But it's also a fantastic card because of that clause that it can't be blocked by creatures with power less than it. With all the different stuff that's in this deck, it's very likely to be bigger than other creatures. I'm running 2 Jory N, who has shown to be an all-star. She is a card draw machine, and it really gets you ahead in the game when you can have her on the field and be casting spells. Lastly, we have good old Savage Knuckleblade, the Temur Zoo 3-drop. He's a 4/4 with a lot of abilities, um, and he just puts in a lot of work. Um, he's kind of our grindy card that gets us through the late game in the harder matches where we have bigger creatures facing us down that Swiftspear simply cannot get through. Now for the spells, I'll start with the sorceries. I'm running 4 Slip Through Space. This is one of the new cards that I think is also spectacular. Giving something that unblockable and drawing a card is really great for 1 blue. So far, I've had a lot of success with it. The cantrip is really great. And when combined with other spells, you can Titan Strength in response to it. So you get a Scry and then draw, which is a really nice little combo. Treasure Cruise, pretty straightforward, really. It's a 1 mana draw 3, which is fantastic. So Treasure Cruise is a 3 of. It really helps you get ahead or refill your hand after you've just vomited it to the board. Anticipate, again, pretty simple 2 mana cantrip. That helps you find the card you need, and it also helps you kind of siphon through land. If you need land, you can get it. If you don't need it, you can toss it away. So that's a really useful 2-drop. Become Immense you've seen it in the Tarka Red decks, you've seen it in Infect and Modern. It's a really stellar card. Giving something +6/+6 for 1 is just fantastic. So Become Immense is one of our top-notch spells, and it really helps us win games. Fiery Impulse is one of our better removal spells. It can kill basically all the problem cards that I see in the format. Jace, it kills Shambling Vent, it kills Soulfire Grandmaster, and it kills most of the other smaller things like Wasteland Strangler. So it kills a lot of the small things that are going to be in the way. Jotty Offshoot even. If opponent's gaining a life every turn, they're more likely to get their Eldrazi out and beat you. So Fiery Impulse is one of our better main board removal spells. Spatial Contortion is the other one. This one is a new card. What I like about it is that it gives a creature +3/-3, and it combos really well with your flyers. So Storm Chaser Mage, it just combos really well with him. Sorry, because you can basically, it becomes a second Titan Strength if you need it to be, but it also doubles as a removal. So it fills 2 slots, which is awesome. Titan Strength gives +3/+1. You scry 1. Very good 1 mana instant speed buffer. Um, it's been, the token of the red decks, and um, it definitely wins games. Swinging for 5 on a turn is just fantastic, especially like on turn 2 or something. Wild Slash, it's the almost bolt. It does 2 damage, and it kills a lot of the problem cards in the format, like Jace, like Soulfire Grandmaster. Those are the ones that I really care about because they're just so grindy, and they make games very hard to win. So Wild Slash is in there to deal with those kind of things, as well as just to hit your opponent in the face. If you dome them, it can often be the last little bit that you need to win. As for the sideboard, this is kind of up in flux, but at the moment, this is what it looks like. 2 Dispels come in for your red-green landfall matchup. They come in for your Dark Jeskai matchup. They come in against control, any sort of like Esper Dragons or any of that kind of stuff. Dispel is just a very versatile card in this format because the best cards are instant speed, and the suboptimal ones are going to not be instant speed, and it'll get through Dispel, but that forces your opponent to run worse cards. Then you're running 2 more Fire Impulse for the mono-red matchup. Anything else that's aggressive. I recently played against Mardu Warriors. So if you have the Fire Impulse, if you board the Fire Impulse in, it's very good in those kind of matchups. Natural State is kind of there just in case you run into any troublesome artifacts or enchantments. There are some that exist in this format, like Silk Wrap, like Stasis Snare. So Natural State is good for getting rid of that kind of removal, as well as getting rid of stuff that's annoying, like Jeskai Ascendancy, an Annoyandar deck or something like that, or Mardu Ascendancy, just producing token after token. Even the new Claws card, I forget what it's called, but it produces tokens when you attack. You equip it. So it's a pretty versatile card that kills a lot of things, and it's a 1-drop. So it's easy to cast and cast something else to trigger Jorian. Fairly good sideboard card. It comes in basically if you're expecting your opponent to bring in Silk Wraps. That would be my main thing, or if you saw something main board that's really pesky. The 1 negate is kind of there for, if you're expecting Radiant Flames or Flaying Tendrils, which Flaying Tendrils isn't that bad for us because Storm Chaser Mage doesn't care, and he's our biggest threat. Savage Knuckleblade doesn't care. Jorian doesn't care. The rest of these guys do, but some of our best cards just don't care about Flaying Tendrils. So the negate happens to be good in a lot of matchups. It just kind of depends on what I think is going to be good in my deck and what I think isn't going to be good in certain matchups, whether or not I bring in negate. Outpost Siege comes in against your more control-y, more grindy matchups like Abzan, like Esper. You just need some continual card advantage that Outpost Siege can grant you. Unlike Jorian, which is kind of like a conditional thing, it's a fantastic conditional draw spell, but Outpost Siege kind of gives you the turn after turn. It's always going to do the same thing. You can also set it to dragons so that you can get the last equalings of damage in, depending on how much damage you've done. A lot of the time you'll have done enough damage to set it to dragons so that you ward off potential removal of your creatures. Overwhelming Denial is one of the new counterspells. I think it's fantastic. I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but when you're running a lot of low mana cost spells like Wild Slash, like Fire Impulse, to play 2 spells for 3, to basically play counterspell that can't be countered is really wonderful. I think this card is great in Standard. I think it's going to be fantastic in Modern. Any of the Drago kind of control decks, I think this might give it away, those decks away into the format. So keep an eye out for that to be good in the future. Reality Shift is there kind of just for Eldrazi. If someone lands an Ulamog or a Kozilek, it just and I don't have flyers on the field or something like that, Reality Shifting can just save my butt from death. It's also just kind of good against annoying creatures like Zilliport Cutthroat or something like that. That's going to gain my opponent life and prevent me from getting the damage in that I need. So Reality Shift is kind of in there as our exile spot. It's kind of flexible. I might, swap it out if I decide that I don't board it in enough or something like that. But for now, it seems pretty usable. Send to Sleep might be something that I'm interested in putting in that spot, actually. And lastly, Rending Volley. Rending Volley is your answer for Dragonlord Ojai, and it also happens to be really good in matches where you're facing any sort of white creatures. Like, it kills Shambling Vent randomly. It kills Soulfire Grandmaster. It kills Wingmate Rocks. It kills all kinds of different things, and it's just a 1-drop that does a lot of things for you. So that's what my sideboard looks like right now. Let me know what you think of the deck below, and then watch the games, and just tell me what you think. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.